Cool. And live.
Dead my old fine hopes, and dry my dreaming, but still iris blue each spring.
Do that again.
I gotta put this next to you.
I'm going to add that.
Dead my old fine hopes, and dry my dreaming, but still iris blue each spring. Shushishki. Wow, that one. Let's see. This one is a little deeper. I need a second to process this one.
I need all day to process that. I don't even know what that means.
Dead my old fine hopes, and dry my dreaming, but still iris blue each spring. Well, I feel like he's talking about his wants, in his hopes, his wants, his dreams, that there's nothing there anymore. But every year spring still comes, and so to me it means that no matter what hopes and dreams you've had, if it comes to it, you have to let them go, as there's still a tomorrow.
Which one is it? I feel like I have to see the words to. It's because I can't, like, when things don't make sense. Like when there's little, like, haikus most of the time. If I can't read it myself, I can't put anything to it. Dead my old fine hopes, and dry my dreaming. So everything he hoped for is done, and everything he wants he doesn't care about. But still iris blue each spring. So life moves on without him.
Exactly. So that's actually pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Well, hello everyone. Greg and Marco here on a Sunday afternoon, morning.
Sunday morning.
That's something that people say all the time. Afternoon when it's not even afternoon.
Yeah. What do you think that where does that come from? But where's their head at? You know?
People skip the warning.
Yeah, most people sleep in today. I didn't sleep in today.
I couldn't sleep in today. My son wakes up and instantly smacks me in the face. Hey, I got you. Yeah, I can feel it.
After he punches you in the face, like, yeah, I know you're there. Oh yeah, you're like, damn it, I have a son.
and then nah, dude. Then he goes and I say, don't do that. And he starts crying and goes, you're mean. I was like, are you kidding me? You smacked me in the face and I mean?
You have to wake up, 10 minutes earlier than him. You just kind of
smack him.
Tap. He's like, hey, come on, aren't you awake yet?
I did. I smacked him on the head last night. He cried that I hit him too hard.
Jesus.
I was like, really? I'm sorry.
You're literally telling people that you abuse your kid.
Nah. So like I was telling, because
Just a joke, by the way.
he's still potty training, and he this morning I told him to go to the bathroom, and he goes, but I don't want to. I don't need to. I said, well, I don't want you to be here, and I don't need you to be here. So go. And so he gets up and he gets all mad. He goes, I don't love you anymore. And he walks into the bathroom, just pees, comes back, and then just starts playing again.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, you're officially 30?
No.
Oh,
not yet.
Month. That's right. What, the 26th, right?
Yeah.
So Greg's about to turn 30 now. How do you feel, man? Now that you've basically had 3 decades under your belt.
I don't see it like other people see it. I don't feel any different.
Okay, do you feel just the same way you felt in high school?
Yeah.
Jesus, Greg.
I mean, different things happen and you have to do different stuff, but I don't feel like like people say that they feel like they're taller or things like I never noticed the difference between when I was 9 and now height wise, or like every day still feels the same. I don't know.
Let
I
me
don't.
rephrase the question.
I can say yes, things are different. I have a job. I have to make money. I have a child I have to take care of. Uh, I my joints and my fingers hurt more than they did 5 years ago. I don't like. Sure,
Okay,
but
let me rephrase the question. How do you feel mentally and emotionally? Do you still feel the same way as you did in high school?
yeah, kind of. I mean, there are some things that are different,
Okay,
but
so tell me what's different. That's what I want to know. Because
uh,
now you're 30, you're um, what do you consider your job as a career? Sort of. I mean,
I
I
mean,
feel like you're gonna be in
it's not
school
a
for.
career, but it is a job. Like in the sense of what a career is, a long-term job, something you work at. So like if you own a restaurant, it's a career, but if you work in the restaurant, it's not a career.
No, what I'm
You know what I
wondering.
mean?
No, I know what you mean, but that's not true. There's career servers, career
Yeah,
chefs.
but they don't consider the
What I'm
majority of them
asking is
career.
basically, do you see yourself in the same job or in the same industry in the next 5, 10 years?
No, I'm hoping within the next year I'm out.
Okay, so it's I wouldn't consider that a career
No.
because you're not gonna be there next year. But anyway,
Yeah.
so you okay, so you got a job. You're literally moving out again, right? And you have a son. Like, tell me, because I'm about to turn 30 this year. I have moved out, but I don't have kids aside from my dog.
Uh-huh.
And I wouldn't. I don't think that you can compare the two. So I'm wondering now that you turn 30, you have all this responsibility. How do you feel now compared to when you back in high school when we didn't really have any responsibility, man.
Yeah.
We were just kind of
I think
there.
I think a little differently than most. I think a lot of people worry about how much money they're gonna make. Like, am I gonna make enough to pay my bills? I don't think that way. I think, am I gonna make enough money to save money?
So
So like,
you're taking more of a proactive approach.
yeah, like if I don't save money in a month, I freak out. Like if I let's say I have like $5,000. If I spend $1,000, I freak out.
Hmm. I mean, if I spent $1,000, I would freak the hell out. Yeah.
Well, no, like if I purposely spent it, like let's say I bought a new computer or something,
Mm.
like,
Well,
and I knew I was fine, and I had, like, my job was fine, and I would still be like, crap, I need to save another 1,000 this month. Like, I need to make it now.
that's good because yeah, I would say that there's not that many people like that out there like you. And it's actually something that I started doing this year is being more conscious about where my money's going. Um, Although there are times where you will indulge like yesterday for Valentine's Day. I took out my wife out to for sushi, all you can eat sushi, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, I'm about to spend $100, because you got it's $60 on the all you can eat sushi, and then it's 2 beers and a sake. It's about $100 night. And I thought about it. And I was thinking, I'm like, I'm about to spend $100 on food, but if I have, I figured it out. I'm like, if I have all my ducks in a row throughout the week, we can afford to do something like this every month or every week, once a week, a month, without being affected by it. And still saving, still paying your dues, putting money aside, uh, investing your money somewhere else. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can still do things as long as you have your ducks in a row throughout the week, so that you don't have to worry about that. Because like you said, a lot of people worry about money, and they should. But the thing is that they're worrying about it because they have bills to pay, but still they want to live a lifestyle that they can't. So like you, the way I see that you do things is that you're proactively just saving money first and then having fun. Whereas people, get their paycheck on Friday, they come back on Friday night, they're like, oh, it's time to go to the bar. Let's go shots on me. Like I've known people like that.
Something that I actually do too is if I don't have to put my checks in the bank,
Yeah.
I don't put them in the bank because then it makes me feel like I have less money. So it's a secondary way of saving. So it's like if I go out and have dinner tonight, $25, and I look at my bank account and I'm like, wait, I don't have as much money. I won't do the next thing. Even if I still have a check sitting in my car, like just waiting to be cashed.
Okay, so how did you cultivate this habit and this way of thinking about money? Did your parents?
Well, growing up, we would all, my brothers and I, we would get $10 each. $8 we could do whatever we wanted with.
Uh-huh.
The other two, one was put into like a piggy bank and saved. And every month our mom or dad would take us to the bank to deposit it. And then the other dollar we gave to church. And so that was a way that we saved. So essentially what I would do too is I would save the $8 consistently and then be able to buy something. So this is when like Game Boy just came out. So like if you wanted a new game, it was like $30 a game.
That's right. I remember.
So it would take, what is that? It would take 16. It would take 4 weeks to save up $30. So I'd have to find out when the game's coming, know how long I need to save for, and go from there. So.
But would you spend all your money on the game, or would you have still money saved up for getting ready for the next game?
I would do that.
Yeah, right.
Again, yeah. So.
See, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up with the minimal allowance, just like yourself, but it was less consistent. So every time I had money, I'm like, oh, like I have money. I'm never gonna have this again. I need to spend it. So I would go. Let's see. What did I bought games. I bought video games, but they weren't like my vice. Like video games weren't my vice. I spent them more on, like I got rollerblades. I got a bike. I got things other than that, but I just thought that I would never have it again. So then, I created this loop where whenever I had money, I had to go spend it because that was the only day I was gonna have it. So now as an adult, I've realized that. So now I'm like, okay, like this is my old habit. This is what I had to troubleshoot. Now it's
like back in the day where people would trade instead of using like currency. Like think of your money as 2 sheep. You can have a male and a female sheep and slaughter them to eat the food, or you can use both sheep to make more sheep.
So you're essentially saying that money is a tool. I now know that being in business, I now know that. But dude, like when you're 17, I mean, remember, like even back then, you used to say no to things.
Yeah, I would say no to things all the time. I still do.
Right, but now you have an actual reason. Like before, you're like, nah. Like you thought about it. Back then, how much did we spend on movies? We were going out to movies like every opening weekend, right? Every box opening weekend. We watched movies like that was.
It was like Friday, yeah.
Like every Friday, then went to the mall. It's funny, dude. So yesterday when I was eating that sushi, I was like, man, this is $100 night, but I feel good because I put my ducks in a row this week. I saved money. I was thinking back to when, maybe like 17, 18, when we went to what was it, prom night? Remember that? We went to Rainforest Cafe, and I was like, fuck, I'm buying a $20 burger. I was dying.
Dude, I was so mad that night, dude.
Dying.
You guys didn't even pay your bill.
What?
None of you guys, dude. I paid like $200 that night.
Do I owe you? Because I'll pay you right now, dude.
Dude.
Is that serious? Are you serious?
Dude, I spent like $200 that night. On me and my date. Because Matt went and he was like giving out like $10 for like $30 of the food, and like no one put in for tip, and oh man, dude.
Yeah, because
I was so mad. I was just like, here, take the money. Let's get out of here.
Man, dude.
And then you guys invited someone else who like, I don't think it was you, but I don't know. Someone invited someone, and then it was just ridiculous.
Everyone that went with in the limo.
Yeah.
It was everyone.
Yeah.
Gerardo was there.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's so great. See, I'm telling you, man. Like back then, I maybe had $80 to my name, and $20 for for me personally, and the date. That was already $50 plus the drink, and then, dude, dead broke.
Back then I was working in the restaurant, and I was working 5 days a week as a busser.
Money back then, dude.
I was throwing money out at restaurants like it was like I was some baller. I would go with Matt, and we would just go eat somewhere, and then we wouldn't like go crazy. We'd both get like a soda and a burger, so it'd be like $30. But then I would leave like $20 tips.
Yeah.
And like, because I was like, oh, when I'm in a restaurant, I feel good when that happens. So I started doing the same thing.
Did you still do that now?
No. I don't have the money for that. No. I give the decent tip, but I don't jump bombs on people.
Yesterday I was like, when I went up to the counter to pay, I was like, huh, I actually got this. I'm good. Now that's the difference that I have, or that I feel from back in the day when I was 17, 18 to now when I'm 30.
But you know what? You know, one of the best things though is when you say you're good, and you like offer, like, say you're driving through somewhere to get something to eat, and you call someone and be like, hey, do you want something? I'm over here. We can hang out. And then they go, no, let's just hang out. And they don't want anything, and you're like, double, yeah. I just saved more money.
Damn, that took a turn.
You know what I mean?
I was thinking that you felt good because you were gonna buy something.
Well, you did, because you were gonna buy them something.
I know,
and then they said, nah, I'm good. So you're like, yeah, double whammy. Because you asked. You asked, nice, so you did the good thing. And then
you're saving money.
You expected to buy them something, but then they said nah, so then you're saving more money. And you're like,
damn, that sucks, because for Super Bowl, you were like, yo, should I pick some food up? I'm like, yep. So now I know what you felt. Oh man, that's hilarious.
Because I did that yesterday. I was driving home, and I called and asked if anyone wanted anything. They all said no. And the funny thing is, right as I get there, what was pulled out for dinner wasn't defrosted. So right as I got there, they're like, let's go to Del Taco. And I ended up not getting anything from where I went to. And so then they bought me dinner. Things like that.
Oh my god, dude.
It was pretty funny.
That's so hilarious.
So we talked about it a while ago, and I just saw the book over there. The book about the traveling, the Atlas.
Atlas Obscura.
Have you been reading that? Or looking at it?
No, so I'll open it up and I'll look at something, but I don't want to open it up just to open it up. Once I have enough to travel, I'm gonna open it up, and that's the day. Like, let's say I'm gonna travel in like 2 years. Within that year, I'll start doing the research. But I just don't want to open it up, because if I just open it up, I feel like I'm gonna lose the interest. Like, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, like I read about this, and I feel like I may not have to go now.
I was gonna say, if there's an index there, see if there's something near here, and it would be easy enough to do.
Yeah, like Yeah, dude, I feel like that's a good bucket list, like the trip bucket list book. It's really cool, man. I loved it, and that's the one I got from Reddit. So, for Secret Santa,
Yeah.
it's my third. It was my third year doing Secret Santa with Reddit. The first year, I got a. Remember that alien shirt
Mm-hmm.
with the alien taking ribs from a bomb? I got that one for a gift one time. Then I got the that ashtray, and then that book. And actually I got that mug too from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So, dude, Reddit's the shit, man. I loved it.
I don't know. I used it for a while and it just became too much. Like it wasn't something that was consistent to follow. It was just like always random things, and I kind of just got tired of it.
What, the Secret Santa?
No, just Reddit in general. I've never
Well,
did the Secret Santa.
See, Reddit is interesting because they literally have threads for anything, anything you can think of. It's there. If you're thinking about self help books, it's on there, and people review them.
I use YouTube the same way essentially because it's
Yeah,
visual as well as text. So like you can search the specific thing you need. If it's in video form, then you can physically see how to do it. If something in the video is not so obvious, you can check the comment. You can respond to the comment. You probably won't get a response back. That's where there's a difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much content out there that you'll most likely find it. And if not, then after that, you can go Google.
But you know what, dude? YouTube, when you're reading like comments and what people reviews on YouTube, people tend to be a little bit more aggressive on YouTube for whatever reason. Maybe the audience is younger or something, but for whatever reason, it's never like you can never find good things on YouTube comments.
Mm.
Like it's always negative stuff, you know. I feel like the people who comment on YouTube are the people that are just like it's like that 1% of people who they just don't like anything and everything's like negative. You know, I'll go on like on other like stream another podcast or something. Some comments are hilarious. Some comments are hilarious, but there's some that are just negative. And so in fact I find that across the board, you know. Unless you're listening to a specific review that someone made a video of.
Because it's so easy to roast people, and it's funny.
Yeah, but see, on Reddit, it's not like that. Like, if you put self-help books, people will list every book. They might even give you their own review of the book. And, you know...
Yeah, because
they'll just don't like it. They won't even say anything.
Because I would say it's harder to get through Reddit than it is to get through YouTube. Like, the visualization makes it so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Where on Reddit, you actually have to read and comprehend it. And the people who are using the visual, they can just see it. They don't have to comprehend anything. And so now they got time to waste.
Oh my god.
I would say there's less intelligent people on YouTube. In the comments is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Than there would be in Reddit.
That could be true, but I also feel like it could be, you know, it's just like when you see things, it's easier to be more judgmental than it is when you read. So
yeah.
You know, I feel like maybe it's just I feel like maybe it's just something that has to do with the visual, like you said. I don't necessarily think that. I don't necessarily think that people are less intelligent. I think maybe it's just YouTube and the visual hit a set of endorphins or a set of your brain that just wants you to react to something. You know, when you're reading something, you're actually processing the information. You're thinking about it. You don't necessarily you don't necessarily react to it, you know. Whereas YouTube, you see the information, you're like, oh, like I don't like whatever he said. Like I'm just gonna comment, like be.
Well, yeah, but you could see the person at that time too. Like the words don't. You can't really make fun of anyone for words unless they mistype something, or like if someone's talking very intelligently about fixing an engine and you're watching them fix the engine, they do everything correct, but their nose is like the size of a dog and they are missing an eye and their right hand is chopped off. Like,
dude,
you would never know that in tech. Well, I'm just saying. The point is that at that point you have something to say, you have something to complain about. In the other sense, where it's just text giving explanation of how to fix the car and all that, there's nothing to make fun of. There's nothing to complain about. There's no
I do kind of see that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Now that
when there's visuals to make fun of, it's easy enough. It's like when you listen to a new artist, like on the radio, you hear a song and you're like, oh, okay, this is a guy, probably a white guy, and then it turns out to be an Indian guy and it's a rapper. Like, you're just like, wait, what? He's Indian? Like this guy's good. I thought this guy was definitely not Indian. Like,
what does that have to do?
But like you hear a voice and you imagine, you're like, okay, it's this person, and then you see them and then you just roast them all of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
That's why I say like I would say it's a little bit more toxic in comments because there's more issues you can see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are more senses, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not just
more senses. That's a good way to describe.
Now you're seeing them. Yeah, dude. I mean.
So it's the same way with like design, like we were just talking earlier, how I can understand design a little bit more now. So you can complain about a messy table, but there's a way to organize this table to make it actually look good. So you can complain about, oh, look how stupid this looks, or you could organize it and then there's nothing to say.
So there was a thing that I came across this week.
I
was looking at this studio, at this office. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking to myself, like, you know, it may not all make sense, like, you know, for people that can't see. On this side of the room, to my right hand side, there is it's a green. It's like it's not mint green. It's
pistachio,
like low shade pistachio green, that I felt like putting up because of productivity. And obviously this side of the studio is the gray background because I just feel like my artwork for the podcast looks great in it. So it doesn't necessarily match. And then we have like little things here and there. I have a deck of cards. I have an ashtray. I have some cigar boxes. I now got this little furniture. We have the table. Like, you know, there's a bunch of things in here that don't necessarily make sense, but because they are lumped together in a way that it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like what was that book that we used to? What was the book? I Spy? Remember I Spy?
Yeah.
Like the images didn't make sense, but they had so much information, and there were so many things there that you can pick out a little thing, and you can tell that it has like a little story behind it. So now we have this on air
sign.
I was gonna say box, but it's a sign that we got from Robert, and just look at the way it makes the room look now. Like now it looks different, you know?
Yeah.
But it's something interesting. Like we've never thought of putting that there, you know? So when you come into this room, you're like, oh man, it's like an organized mess, and that's like the best way I can describe it.
Well, I mean, the outside's organized. Like how I said, this could look better.
Yeah.
You just gotta organize it.
But also, there's a beauty to mess. Have you ever noticed that?
So it's like life. You gotta organize your mess. Until you can organize your mess, it's gonna look ugly.
Well,
did you just?
Hang on.
You paused for a minute.
I paused because
you're like, oh damn.
There's more depth to that. There's more depth. I don't know if you thought about it. You know, I've come across people who, you know, they seem to have a grip on life until they start talking, like through their actions. They're like, oh, like that person like must be doing okay, and then you have a conversation with them, and then they're telling you that, you know, that the system is rigged, that things don't work like this, and that the government is suppressing people and whatever. And then and then they become activists, and they're telling you that who you should vote for, how you should live your life, and then you start talking to them, and they start describing how their life is and how their home is. Like, you know, people, like when people tell you that you should act this way, you should act that way, but then you look at their home and it's a mess.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is book by Dr. Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life, where he tells you how before you go out to the world and try to fix the world, like organize your room and clean your room, and then go out and then try to, you know, better the world in whatever way. And I've been doing that more like lately, and I've realized how hard it is to just stay on top of your room. You know, like you'll go a week and you're like, crap, I have to clean. And then when you start cleaning, it's like it's an all day thing. You know, so people don't do it. Yet they're out here trying to fix the world, and they can't fix themselves. They can't fix the room. They can't even make their bed.
That's something that I run into when I'm working, is people don't understand why certain things happen, and then you try to explain it to them, and the answer is, I don't know. It's like, yeah, but I'm showing you now, so you can know. So next time you have the tool.
Yeah. Why don't you?
There's too much I don't know. So like, I don't know. It's the same with like chopsticks. I always just say, nah, I don't know how to use them. I don't learn how to use them. I just say, hey, give me a fork.
Right.
It's not that I can't do it.
You just don't want.
I just don't want you to show me how to do it, because why?
Why not?
Exactly.
Well, first of all,
so next time I could just use the chopstick and not have to worry about asking for a fork. But I mean, to tell you the truth, there's no reason for me to ever really use a chopstick, because I just order meat and rice anyways. Like, okay, that's not really like.
Can you? Okay, you're a picky eater, right?
Like, if I was eating sushi, the chopsticks would make sense, because the chopsticks can hold the sides, and it would just be easy to do it. Because I mean, sushi is really almost finger food, anyways.
Right. Do you think that in the future, is there a possibility where you actually try more food?
Well, see, that's the thing, is people always say, will you try this? If you give me something that I haven't had before, sure. But if you give me something that has all ingredients that I've had before that I hate, no. So like, if you bring me some fruit from the Amazon that I've never had before, I'll try it. Okay. If you bring me a fish from the ocean with mayonnaise on top of it that I've never had before, I'm not going to try it. I don't like mayonnaise, and I don't like fish. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, like, I've never had. I think I've had like I've had duck once, but it was like an appetizer dip, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't that great. So like, I would try duck.
Yeah, Peking duck.
Like, what else? Like, there's like birds out there that I've never eaten before. I would try that. Like, I tried guinea pig before. Like,
how was that? How was guinea pig?
I didn't have enough of it to be like, yeah, no. Like, there wasn't much meat. It was more like everyone took a bite. So I can't even really remember it.
Literally just like tried it.
Yeah. So I don't really remember.
Must have been like,
it wasn't very impressive either way. So, but like, you can't just give me a ham sandwich made slightly different and be like, try it, you'll probably like it. No, I don't like ham. Like,
Oh.
it's like you giving me a ketchup that was made with natural salt and expect me to like it. No, it's not gonna happen.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So it's like there's something you don't like. Like, what's something you don't like to eat?
Honestly, see, because of my upbringing and the fact that I didn't really have much to choose from, I didn't have the um, what do you say? I didn't have the privilege. I didn't have the privilege to dislike something. So I literally, there's like literally nothing I won't eat.
There's something. There's something you don't like.
There's one thing.
Hey, what is it?
Let me tell you. Back when I was working at Home Depot, I had a friend who was quote unquote Jamaican. Okay, I say quote unquote because he
wasn't.
He acted Jamaican. He talked with an accent.
He was born here.
He was just white.
You look like me.
No. He was black.
I mean, that doesn't really matter.
No. Anyway, I don't necessarily think he just said it too much. He like wore all the Rasta, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, too good to be true, kind of type of guy. Anyway, one day we're at break. He brings in a little container that says chum and crackers. And then, again, if you offer me food and then you tell me, try this. It's from my hometown. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So here I am. I took a little dip of the chum with the cracker.
What is that, though?
Chum.
But what is it?
Chum is like all the excess of fish.
So it's a fish hot dog, essentially.
No, it's like a fish paste of all the excess that people don't eat from the fish.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
Actually, people use it for bait. Okay, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
So I dipped the cracker in the chum, and I was eating it like I would like a tuna salad. I put it in my mouth. I literally spit it out.
Okay, so let's say that I took all the leftover pieces of the finest fish in the world and was like, "Here, try this."
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but see,
that's the same thing. Like,
I know what you're saying, but there's a big difference between literally the intestines, the skeleton, the.
Isn't that what menudo is?
No.
Menudo, isn't that the intestine?
Yeah, but it's not fish. It doesn't taste the same.
No, but I'm just saying, like, that's my point though. You're still willing to eat the intestine of another animal. So it's not the grody-ness of eating an intestine.
No.
It's the flavor of what it is.
Uh-huh.
That's my point.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It doesn't correlate. Just because I won't eat the intestine of a fish doesn't mean I won't eat the intestine of another animal.
I don't know.
Like
some of the stuff is really just the texture. Like if it intestine is pretty much equivalent to fat, like texture wise. Like it's chewy-ish and
yeah. But I don't think
it's got that like.
I don't think the fish tastes like that, or it's not that it tastes like that. It doesn't even have that. It's not just intestine.
Yes.
Chum. Like saying it would be like saying making like a chum out of a cow.
Well, see, like I'll give you
a cow chum.
I'll give you an example of something that I wouldn't eat. That doesn't taste bad. It's the texture that mattered. I had tongue tacos, and the taste wasn't bad, but it's so chewy that there wasn't much flavor, and it's not appetizing.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of tongue tacos. Like if we go to a party and that's all they have, I'll eat it.
I probably wouldn't eat. I'll just wait till later.
Yeah, I'll eat it.
Like if I had to eat tongue tacos or fish on an island to survive, I would choose the tongue tacos.
Okay.
If it was salmon or tongue tacos, I would choose tongue tacos.
And what if you didn't have either? What if all you had?
Well, if it was survival, it's different. I'll eat whatever I got.
Would you try iguana?
I don't know. I guess. Yeah.
I think I would
try. If it was up to me to like cook the iguana and all that, I wouldn't get it. But if it was prepared and cooked already and not just like you see the whole iguana sitting there, I probably wouldn't. It's the visual in that sense. So it's like I ate llama, but I ain't gonna go
How
shoot a
dare
llama,
you?
chop up the llama, and like.
How dare you?
But what was the other one? Like snake. People eat snake. There's a hot dog place down in downtown Santa Ana that serves a rattlesnake hot dog.
Yeah, if
I would try it,
I think it's the
but
same. Well, actually, did I have alligator hot dog there? I think
yeah.
I did.
Well, you had alligator at my restaurant. Like I had that, and it didn't taste bad. It was just gamier, so I'd rather go with something that tastes better.
Yeah. You know what? It did have like a pond taste to it.
But a lot of people liked it. Yeah, I
It's
was very
good.
surprised.
It's good. It's different, right? It's like out of the norm. Like it's a little different. So
I just didn't find much to it that would make it any better than something else.
yeah. But you know also what I realized, like people do certain things because it gives them like a little uplift. You know, like a little uplift. Like in the morning, like people will
Well, like you,
just for people to say it, they'll like say, I only drink black coffee. Now, I am a black coffee type of person, but I'm black type of person because of it, right? It's because it gives you that little uplift, you know. It's something that not everybody does, so it makes you feel good. Like, oh, you don't drink black coffee? You put coffee, you put milk in your coffee.
right?
You know what I mean?
It's like the whole Apple and Android thing.
Yeah.
I have to get over that. Like it's a joke now, but I gotta get over
You
that
know what? See,
because they're both tools. Like, why does it matter which one you use?
yeah, like you don't have an iPhone. I'm like, nope. And it's actually like one of the cheapest Androids you can get.
It's like,
Why? Because I don't need it. I have what you have, and I don't need all the extra little things. Like it's a phone. I can text. I can keep up with friends.
I heard something the other day that almost every single person walking around right now in at least the United States has a more powerful computer in their pocket than most of our presidents did growing this country.
And what do we get?
and
What
and
do
we're
we choose
freaking
to
out,
do with
right?
it?
That's
What do we choose to do with it?
the explanation was too that there's so much opportunity and no one's using it.
See, that's the thing. We, as um, as Americans, we're spoiled, and we have these privileges that we take for granted. Like we have the privilege to say, no, I'm not gonna go to school because my hometown is not getting bombed, and there's no like murder and rape everywhere. There's no pillaging here, so I don't have to go to school. You know what I mean? I don't have to go get educated because now I can get educated at home with YouTube. Like we
And
are so spoiled, man. We're so spoiled, and I kind of fell for that too. Growing up, man, you know, coming from Mexico, I had no idea. I had no idea of what of I had no idea, man. Like now, thinking back to going back to let's say elementary school, and now going through high school and then attempting college and all that. I fell into the same thing. Like, this is already better than Mexico, so I don't need to do it. Like, for me, I had already made it
yeah,
because I improved my living situation, you know? And now being 30, I don't, that was like my old way of thinking up to maybe 20, 21. At 21 is when I really started changing. And then I realized, like, dude, even though I don't want to do the things I should be doing, I should at least try to be better in some way, right? That was 21. And now I'm 30, I'm like, I realized the missed opportunity that I had growing up. But it's not too late. So, I feel like, now I'm starting to get to be more grateful, and like we have the ability to do this. So, and that's one of the things that I was telling you, man. Like if we're gonna do this, we have to just attempt it and be the best that we can with it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that we are spoiled here? Like our biggest problem right now is what show am I gonna watch on Netflix?
Yeah.
For most people.
Well, it's because a lot of the stuff is you lose the fight or flight too much.
Like survival. Right?
Yeah, we don't have the survival mentality anymore.
Yeah, in fact, I feel like we're getting things shoved down our throat.
A lot of successful people, I feel like, still have that feeling consistently. Like when you have the pressure of having a business, you have the fight or flight.
That's a good way of putting it.
When you don't, it's just like I was talking to the kitchen manager the other day, and he said, yeah, it's so easy to hear all these complaints from people who say, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. But then these people can't handle the simplest of tasks, saying, hey, put a garnish on a plate. And they're just like, it's too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm too busy. Like, so you're too busy to put a garnish on a plate. But you're saying this guy can't schedule the restaurant that he's been doing every week just because you wanted one day off?
Yeah.
Like,
dude, it's crazy, man.
Things like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. But you can always complain about something you don't do.
Yeah. Telling you, man, we're spoiled here. we're you don't realize that you're spoiled. Good luck. Good luck. I'm gonna ask you to read another excerpt of a haiku because I really need to go take a pee.
Where we at?
I think we're done. I'll be right back.
Dead wild geese. No, this is not the right one. Oh yeah, here we go. In this windy nest, open your hungry mouth in vain. Isa, stepchild bird. Isa is the person who wrote this haiku. I don't know why they would add their own name. But in this windy nest, open your hungry mouth in vain. So, stepchild bird, that would mean, I don't know what that means. I'll have to see what he thinks about that. But we did start using different platforms to advertise the podcast. So we are on Instagram at Thought Process Podcast. And from there you can find us on Facebook and Twitter as well. The Twitter is Podcast TP, and Facebook is Thought Process Podcast. You can check us out there. We're also starting to do questions on Reddit and Quora that we'll start doing here at the end. We're just waiting for more responses and gathering the information so we can have it readily available. So we'll probably start doing that next week.
What?
And I was talking about the Quora, and
oh, well, do you want to jump into that?
We can start it next week just so that there's more in it.
There's a lot.
Is there?
Yeah.
If you have it ready.
Yeah.
But let me read this haiku while you find that stuff. Because I did, but it made no sense to me. I said I was going to wait.
Let me see if I can do it on my phone.
So, here we go. Isa is the person who wrote this, and they actually put their name in it, which was weird, and I don't understand. In this windy nest, open your hungry mouth in vain. Isa, stepchild bird. Windy nest, like a bird's nest. It's a bad day, I would assume. You don't want to be in a windy nest.
Right.
Open your mouth, as in the mother bird's going to feed you. Stepchild, which means it's not actually your mother. So, other people can nurture you, I guess, is what I take out of that. Except someone, except the authority? No. what's the word? Accept the what is that called? A maturity. Accept the maturity's help. That's what I'm seeing out of that.
Yeah, it's like accept the advice people give you that's well intended, especially when you know they're right and you have no say in the matter. You know, that's kind of like what I get from it.
Something.
Do you have, by the way, hang on. Do you have it ready on your laptop?
No, not that stuff.
You don't have that one?
No. Okay. I mean, I could find it, but that's why I said next week we should just do it. So we'll just do it next week. We'll have it ready available. But with this, what we were just talking about with that haiku, is something that someone told me we do trivia at work. And I was talking to one of the guys there, and he said he likes doing the trivia because it keeps his mind sharp. And I thought about it for a minute. I was like, how does it keep your mind sharp? But it's questions about things in the world. And the more you know about the world, the more ideas that you can have. Mm-hmm. The more your brain can think about, the more you can communicate to others about.
Yeah,
the
you're
more
basically using it.
Yeah. So there's plenty of times like where there could be a awkward situation or a boring situation because you don't know anything about things. So if you go to like a sports game, you go to a football game, you haven't watched anything all season and you know nothing about football, you've never even seen a football game before, it's going to be awkward. Right. But if you had previously gone and researched a little bit, then it wouldn't have been as awkward. You'd have more to talk about and you could learn from there.
Yeah. Yeah, but also I feel like it just, you know, it's like that saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I feel like that's true in some aspects of life. I think it's true when it comes to your mind. If all you're doing is filling your mind with nonsense, then all you're going to have in your mind is nonsense. But if you're reading, if you're having stimulating intellectual conversations, I feel like it's gonna do. It's like, who was it, dude? Who was it? Yeah, Joe Rogan was talking about how he believes that we have two different types of nutrition. Number one is the food that you eat for your body as nutrition, and then the things that you intake through your mind as nutrition. So if all you eat, like he gives this example of, if all you eat is hamburgers, then your body's gonna be crap. And if all you do is watch TV, then your mind's gonna be all crap. If you're not reading, you're not eating your vegetables. You know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the way he framed it. I thought there was a lot of truth in that.
I was watching some movie, and it came down to the end of the movie, and it was this old guy talking to this old lady, and the guy couldn't really remember things anymore. Uh-huh. And I was watching it with my mom, and she goes, "Why can't men remember things when they get old?" And then she goes, "'Cause they work so damn hard through their life. They're withered away," is what she said. I don't think that's interesting.
I don't think that's true. I think that it's I think working really hard actually like hardens some aspects of your life and in your brain. It actually, I mean, the most successful people that I know, the ones that have worked really hard, have the sharpest minds I know. You know? That's just the way I feel. So actually, I do have it ready if you want to start the segment.
We'll do a quick one, yeah?
Yeah. So there's four answers to the question of the day on the new segment, which is Let's Ask the World. I had asked people on Quora, Reddit, and Twitter, what does it mean to be a man today, in today's world? You know, we think about a man meant, or what it meant to be a man back in the day, in the Stone Age. You know, it was like a hunter gatherer type of guy. The men were the ones that essentially went out to gather food and build shelter. And then in the 1800s, it was, what did it mean to be a man in the 1800s, and what did it mean to be a man in the 1900s, and what does it mean to be a man, you know, in the 21st century? What do you think?
And 30-30.
So you know, before we go on to the question, to the answers of other people on Quora, what do you think it means to be a man today, Greg?
Well, I don't know, because you can give simple answers, but I mean, everyone has to take responsibility for themselves at a certain point, regardless if it's a man or a woman. So, if when we talk about it, I just picture it in the simplest sense in how we are as as a human being, how there are differences between the man and the woman, and it's a little bit more obvious in the mass groups. So a man is more physical and can do more laborsome things, but I think what it is to be a man is more in the sense being able to compromise with others but give your strength. So some people don't have physical strength. Some men have mental strength. So by giving out your mental strength, you're being the man that you are in that sense. If you're physically strong, then you'd give out your physical strength rather than your mental strength, because your mental strength's not there. So essentially, it's giving out the strength that you have been given in life.
Okay, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way of thinking. See, for me, I think I had asked the wrong question, because what I really wanted to know was, what does it mean to be a man? But my understanding of a man was different. Like, I didn't frame the question correctly. I guess I asked the wrong question. But it's a good question, you know? But anyway, I had asked, because I was thinking about like the traditional cultural man in the Hispanic culture. Like, what does it mean to be a man today? Like, back in the day, you had to work, you had to be the breadwinner, you had to provide for the family, but it's not so true anymore. You know, it's not so true anymore. So that's what I actually wanted to know. But now maybe that's a different question, right? So now, to me, what does it mean to be a man? For me, it means that you have to take responsibility over the things that you can control. So, you know, as a child, I would think about things that were irrelevant to my like to me. I was always thinking about what other people thought, about what other people had going on, instead of like fixing myself. So now that I'm 30 and I've went over this like quarter life crisis and existential crisis, I realized that what I should be doing is not worrying about the world, but I should be worrying about is myself. So whether you're a woman, what does it mean to be a woman or a human at that? You're just a human. Take responsibility for yourself. That's what I think. That's, at least that's what comes in my mind, is that that's what I should be. I am a man, right? For me, I feel like I should just take responsibility of myself. In whatever realm. It could be work, it could be friendship, it could be as a father one day, it could be as a partner, it could be as just in everything. Just responsibility of yourself. And by me doing that, I feel like I feel like that is the way you change the world, is by being your best. Like I had this whole thing where I felt like the weight of the world on my shoulders. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I don't have the weight of the world on my shoulders. I can barely like do my own things. And so I realized it's not the weight of the world, it's the weight of my world. You know? It's the weight of my world. So now that I know that, I have to take responsibility over that. And that's what I think a man is, or a woman, or a human being. You know? I don't know. What do you think about that? And so let's so
you gonna give one of those?
Let's go to Quora. Joe Wells answered. He answered this in a poem. He was taught. He said that here's a poem by Rudyard Kipling. I don't think much has changed since he wrote this. It is called If. So the poem is called If by Rudyard Kipling. I'm not sure who that is.
Uh-huh.
Here you go. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give away to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your wings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you, except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Wow. So there's a lot of information in this poem. I would actually, I upvoted it for sure. I would actually take a long time to process this over the podcast. So maybe we can come back to that next week, and we'll talk about what we learned from that. But there's so many answers. Like, what's another good one? Let's see. Ryan Dan commented this. In my view, it's something like, be somewhat strong physically. You don't have to be a bodybuilder strong, but be somewhat strong at least. You don't have to be super skinny, but at least be able to do somewhat simple exercises. If you're a beast, then honestly, that's fine. There are probably factors that cause this, and that's alright. But physical strength overall is something I think a man should have. Don't complain so much about whatever. This should be for all genders. Just because you are having a bad day doesn't mean it's the worst. Others are having worse days and you're just uncomfortable, not suffering. As a man, you should be willing to do the work no matter how sucky it is. Like the saying goes, man up. Kind of like stop complaining and do the work. The way I think every day. Okay.
There's probably a lot there, but before we
get into that, look at this
Yeah, there's
It's
too
like
much
an
there.
essay.
Let's just go off of what you went right now.
Yeah.
So I can agree with some of those things and disagree because let's give an example.
Okay.
Like talk about strength and be able to do normal exercises and so on and so forth. How I was saying earlier is use your strength, and that will make you a man. Give you an example. Stephen Hawking. He can't do anything. He uses strength, his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Did it make him not a man because he couldn't move?
Right.
Did he not provide for his family? Did he not, in a sense, provide for himself?
Right.
Did he not continue to give value? Did he not give value to the world, even though he couldn't do anything physically?
Yeah.
You could probably consider him more of a man than some people who have lived.
It's true.
So it's the
that's a
same
good
thing
one,
about the
right?
world. Is there a reason for the world? Like even if you go to
The fact is that we're here, right?
sure. So there's
we're
no
not
reason
here.
for anything.
Well, we don't know that. That's
There's
like
not-
the biggest question. That's like the biggest question. That's
Like, we'll put it this way.
That's the question.
There's a ton of atoms in your body, right? There's like, let's say there's a ton of blood in your body.
Mm-hmm.
If one blood cell was gone, did that blood cell matter? No, it didn't really matter. Sure, everything as a whole matters, but it didn't necessarily matter that much.
Well, how about
It had a
how about
life
we
and
do
it had its process, but like, it doesn't
Well-
matter that much.
Well, I have a big counter argument to that. What about a radical white blood cell? Does one little radical white blood cell that turns into cancer not matter?
But see, those are differences though.
But it's the same thing. It's just one white blood cell.
So then what you're saying in that same sentence is that not everything matters, but there are certain things that do matter.
Okay. Hang on.
Because
Hang-
that mattered, but if that wasn't there, it didn't matter. So like the red blood cell that didn't do anything necessarily on its own, it didn't turn into cancer or any of that. Didn't do any, like if it didn't exist, it wouldn't have necessarily mattered that much.
I wouldn't necessarily say that because
It's like
if it's like saying that just because you have others, one doesn't matter. Like I think it's the butterfly effect. I believe in the butterfly effect.
sure it
if
changes
one-
things, but it didn't. That doesn't mean that
It can matter,
but
like it may not matter right then and there, but over a long period of time, it might affect something else.
Well, yeah,
So, like,
everything
that-
affects
If
things.
that red blood
but-
cell wasn't there, maybe a bad blood cell
Okay.
would take its place.
Yeah, but see now that's all about the what ifs. So unless there's a plan that like it's already set in motion that something's happening and all these things have to go to get to whatever that is, then there's a meaning. But
do
we
have
aren't
a
part
plan.
of that meaning.
Of course we are.
We don't choose the meaning of it.
No, we make our own meaning out of it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like there's no straight definition of why we exist, why the world matters, why
The thing is,
what makes you
the
a
thing
man,
is that we're not smart enough to understand it.
or we're just trying to think too much.
I don't think so. I just don't think we understand it. It's like we just don't have the capability to understand it. It's too big. Like our little human minds cannot possibly process the bigness of the universe.
Or we're
It's
just,
too big.
or we're just
It's
not
like-
designed to it. Just like
it's like-
fish aren't designed to walk on on the land.
Exactly.
So
I think
we're
we're
just
s-
not designed for the purpose that we're trying to think of, or we're trying to get to.
Maybe we're just like an ant. We're an ant. We're like one little speck in the universe.
I actually thought about this the other day. How many animals out there have changed a lot? Like you think of wolves, right? Wolves kind of have done the same thing as far back in history as we can record.
Mhm.
They don't change. They stay in packs. They hunt. Sure, different things happen. You may get one that's born with two heads or something. Like things change like that, but that's like super random. But as a whole, they still do the same thing. Humans, we've changed so much.
Have we?
Yeah, we cavemen in a cave. If you don't believe in that, we used to be cowboys running around just shooting people on the street, challenging people. To now we have these magical microphones and telephones that we can talk to people across the world we've never heard of or seen or will ever see. But how many other things have changed so much like that? I feel like something happened that we're not aware of that made us break off from what we were supposed to do.
Okay, what do you mean?
So like everything has a purpose, right? Like how they introduced wolves into Yosemite, and by them introducing more wolves, it actually saved Yosemite.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something happened to where we broke off from what we were like supposed to be doing for the world, and we're pushing to something else. Because there's nothing out there that's done anything similar to humans. Nothing's changed. Like people have migrated. Maybe that's our purpose is to migrate, but migrate into bigger things. Because like walls, like we have walls around like communities. Like they used to do that in castles to keep people safe from harm. Sure, there's people who will try to rob you and stuff like that, but like our walls now are not, yes, they're defense mechanisms, but we're not getting attacked on a normal basis.
Well, not here.
Like we're not, but no, that's what I mean. Like I'm driving home and I looked at a wall, I was like, that looks like a castle. Like it looks like they have a defense above. Like they might as well put a moat around it now. Like it's just I'm going in a rabbit hole now.
I would say that we haven't changed all that much. We still eat the same foods. We still speak. Maybe language is the thing that evolved the most. Maybe language. We still teach. We still learn. We still walk. We still do, like, we haven't changed all that much. I feel like animals have evolved more than people.
Well, see, why do we not talk about...
I have a dog that's a border terrier that came from a wolf. Just think about that. I think that species has changed much more than people. Like, we don't have a 20-foot person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't have like someone who can fly. We're still doing the exact same things. We've actually, the only thing that's changed is language, I think, and our brain. The ability to create.
Sure, we don't things. We haven't changed in a physical form, but we've changed in appearance form and mentality. So like let's put in perspective. Like there's white people, black people, brown people,
albinos.
There's
I think they're the minority.
Like okay, the difference between a traditional black African, an Indian man, and an American white male. The African black man does different things. Physical appearance is completely different. The Indians, like a lot of Indian, like traditional Indians, won't eat pork. So like they have evolved in a sense of not eating certain things that others will eat. Mm-hmm. The white men in America, we use a lot more like garbage items in a sense. We eat hot dogs and hamburgers and don't keep nutrition. So in the sense of like in the sense of food, we're the cockroaches essentially. The Indians would be like I don't know, sharks. They have a consistent diet. They don't eat kelp. Hey, like I'm trying to compare it to the world. So
yeah,
we have evolved in different senses, just in different places, and it's not in
of
a
course.
physical form. Like
Yeah, that's
your
why you
dog
have.
doesn't look like a wolf,
Yeah.
but it still acts the same way. It still walks. It still eats. They may eat different food.
Mm-hmm.
Still drinks. It's not that they change that much. It's just their
Well,
appearance is different now.
but precisely, like we still have
But
like our appearance dates back to thousands of years. We still look the same. Whereas wolves and to dogs, we have Yorkies. We have teacup Yorkies. That does not look.
yeah, but
remotely close to
that wasn't done naturally by the animal.
right.
That's like how
force adapted.
we have like chimera things where it's growing human parts because we have manipulated things to do different processes. Like it wouldn't have just naturally happened.
Right.
It's like if you believe in some form of evolution where we came from a fish, like how did the fish become a human without purposely trying to do it? Like I don't believe in that.
You know what, dude? The thing is that
Like a fish had to be like
the evolution equation is like it walks a fine line. The conditions have to be perfect for the cell to multiply. Then 1% of that species of that cell, whatever bacteria was in different conditions, which was the 1% of its ancestors, and then it went on to the next thing, and then from that species, that 1% mutated, and it's like a whole line that you can. Scientists say they can trace it back. Honestly, I don't know what to believe. You know, the thing is that
you can
like
trace. Sure, you can trace things. Like you can trace that hair is hair. A dog has hair. We have hair. So now we got it from dogs.
See, the thing is that
What if it evolutionary went the other way? What if humans went into dogs? And that's why there's a similarity.
Well, look, the argument is, but why didn't we, dude? If that was true,
Witches.
But if that was true, wolves would have eaten us. We would have had no chance. As humans, when we were first like Neanderthals, when we were barely learning how to use tools, before then, what? How did that happen? How did someone survive the conditions of the world and predators?
Because you had no choice. It's the same thing. Like how do the animals survive now, where we're building cement cities where we either kill them or take them out? There's plenty of animals out there in the world who've never experienced us.
With the recent fire in Australia, we lost 1 billion animals. What? And if we think about it, most of those fires were arson. What?
You know,
what? Happening?
I've really been curious about things like that though. Like Australia is so far away, sure, and sure trees burn down, so there's less oxygen in the world. Yeah. But like, if you think about the animals, would that technically affect us here? Like, sure, if we import meat or anything from those places, but like, majority of the time we're not eating wild animal.
Mm-hmm.
So like, does that directly affect us? Like, it would change the process of what's going on.
You know what? The thing is that we won't know until 20, 30 years from now.
Yeah, because I mean that's a normal process in life too.
Yeah.
Like throughout history, there's been bad wildfires. There's been mass extinctions of humans, of animals, of fish. Like even if we weren't here, those things would be happening. So we are in a sense still experience those things, but some things change and some things happen more frequently, but at the same time we're also producing more. Yeah. There are more animals in the world because we have been raising more animals. So those billion that were killed, also we probably have produced another billion that weren't originally going to be produced because of it. So are we really doing that much in the world?
We
Like,
won't know. We
it
won't know
does
until
almost seem like the cycle is just different, and it may seem higher because there is more.
Yeah. Well,
It's like wildfires are natural; they happen.
So-
Sure, people are lighting them, but
so what do you think should be the question of the week next week?
I don't have one on my head.
What is the human's purpose in all this?
No, because no, I don't like that.
Okay. What do you think? Wait, hang on. Why don't you like it?
Because it won't. We won't have there's no answer.
Okay, that's fair.
That's why.
What do you think?
Because
What
it's
do you think
just
is a good
it's more or less an argument question than it is an answer.
Yeah. What do you think is a good question to ask?
I mean, all questions are that way, I guess.
Okay, let's see. What's a good question that correlates exactly to the conversation that we were just having? I mean, I guess those questions are a little overrated. As you said, there's no answer. But
how does one bring meaning to their life?
okay, let's do that. How does one bring meaning to your life? Okay, so to end this podcast, we're going to read another excerpt of The Heart of a Buddha. And today's excerpt says, "There is nothing more dreadful than the habit of doubt. Doubt separates people. It is a poison that disintegrates friendships and breaks up pleasant relations. It is a thorn that irritates and hurts. It is a sword that kills."
That's true.
With that being said, thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. We will be here next week.
Yeah, we're on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And then soon you will be able to listen to this podcast on every platform. We're going to try to get this on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all the other preferred platforms. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.